The holographic monocle over his eyes zoomed in on his target. Lying flat on his stomach atop a gently sloped, slightly gritty surfaced roof, Makl kept his movements to a minimum. Given the various notices prohibiting anyone but those with valid work permits access to his location, he did his best to remain out of sight. Not an easy task for a warrior who preferred the limelight. For several galactic units now, he'd ignored the rumble in his stomach, the itch in his side, and the one fruxing rock digging into his thigh. He tuned out all the discomforts and distractions a boring stakeout tempted a male with. Nevertheless, a need for surreptitiousness or not, he knew better than to ignore his Aunt Muna's transmission, the insistent buzzing persistent in his ear. "Auntie, to what do I owe the pleasure?" he purred, even as he meticulously noted the placement and rotation of cameras outside the establishment he cased. Also documented in his notes was how many guards patrolled, and at what intervals.
"I trust you're being a good soldier and bringing the family honor?"
Aunt Muna didn't waste time on trivialities such as hello and how are you. "Following in the footsteps of the great ones," he answered as he jotted his findings into his holographic notebook. It and the tool over his eye were some of the best technology he'd ever come across, and stolen.
"In other words, you're fornicating, thieving, and murdering."
He couldn't help but smile at her blunt summary. "As often as I can."
"Excellent. Keep up the good work. Your mother would have been so proud. If you could, though, in between causing havoc and mayhem, I need you to perform an errand for me."
"I'm kind of busy at the moment. Busy planning out his next move and investigating his target. A heist destined to put him at the top of a few wanted lists. He couldn't wait to see the headshots he'd had professionally taken, by none other than the renowned photographer Notromus, plastered on wanted posters. After weeks of work with the famed artist, they'd finally come up with a portfolio to be proud of. It took time and skill to achieve just the right look of menace mixed with insouciance. Nothing like projecting the right image when carving his name into history.
"You're too busy."
Uh-oh. Makl recognized his aunt's tone. It didn't bode well.
"I'm sorry. Did you hear me say you had a choice? Or would you prefer I tell Trin you were too occupied to help out family?"
Said so sweetly. Too softly. Big uh-oh. Makl swallowed hard. "Maybe I spoke too hastily. Did I hear you say this involves Trin?" Family or not, no one wanted to rile that particular male. Makl's older cousin tended to kill first and not care after. Tren, a legend in their family, said questions were for the uncertain. Mercenary rule number 13. Aunt Muna cleared her throat.
"Tren is caught up in some important affairs currently, or he'd take care of this himself. I think it's a great honor he's willing to trust you with this task."
The high and mighty, infamous former mercenary, now turned cutthroat politician, needed his help? Makl's chest expanded several units. "Of course I'm available to aid him. Family comes first."
"Excellent answer."
"So what am I required for? Assassination? Kidnapping? Hostage situation? Ooh, hopefully an extremely difficult acquisition of a top-secret scientific breakthrough." Makl loved a challenge, and the gadgets such endeavors brought.
"It's a highly sensitive mission of utmost importance."
Makl paused in his note-taking, intrigued.
"Possibly dangerous."
Sounded promising.
"It's not something we can ask of anyone else."
Better and better. Makl almost held his breath as he waited for her to get to the point.
"We need you to fetch a nanny."
Removing his earpiece, Makl blew on it, rubbed it on his shirt, wiggled a finger in his ear, then returned the hearing unit to his ear.